Lutfer from Florida Attractions Association, and we've got Mike Donaldson and Daniel Douglas with your FAA team. We've been working on our annual conference and the TnT show, and we're excited things are coming together very nicely, and looking forward to seeing everyone in Naples in about 3 weeks. If you haven't registered for the conference, please do that, and if you haven't registered for the TnT show, please do that. That's coming together well. We've got some good news to report on both fronts. Today, we're going to have our final webinar session on the TnT show and getting you up to speed on preparation for your preparation for the show on Wednesday the 13th. And we're pleased to have with us again the chairman of the board of the Florida Attractions Association from Double T Multimedia, Nick Romeo, and the treasurer and the chief operating officer from Sawgrass Recreation Park, Christina Schwartzman. Christina and Nick, take it away.
First, I want to say welcome everybody, and thank you, and hopefully you've attended all 3 of the meetings and learned a lot. I know you're going to learn a lot more today. And please remember that Chrissy and I are always here for questions that you could send us on our own. We'll be able to answer them if you don't want to ask them during the event of the PowerPoint presentation. At this point, Chrissy, you want to take it away? I think we're going to turn the screen over to Chrissy if we can, Daniel, at this point.
Yes. Okay, hold on. I think I got it. Just 1 second.
There we go. Oh, wow. Look, my name was iFly back then.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry, Nick. Everybody, please disregard that. And also that moderator note. My goodness. I'm sorry, guys. That was
well, we're reusing, just so everybody knows, we used this during a training session. This had to be 3 years ago, I think, 2 years ago. So
2 years.
2 years ago. So just excuse the first screen, guys.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Nick and I are so excited. This is really coming together. We have our own trade show. We're super, super stoked. Nothing really like it exists in the industry that's super focused on attractions. So this is going to be really great for everybody. We're just going to go over some basic overview items of trade show in general, and then we'll get to a specifics about just our show and the one that we're going to be having. And so this is just something that's important to understand about trade shows is a lot of people come just to learn what's new in the market, what are the new offerings. They come to find new suppliers of a product, of transportation solutions. I like this. The only one that I will tell you that I disagree with is the post-show follow-up. We're going to get to that later. That kind of depends on the show that you attend. But other than that, you know, a lot of them are first-time attendees. They're looking for new products. They're exploring new markets. So even some of these companies that have been in the area for quite some time suddenly make an operational decision to put a heavy focus on Florida in 2019 and 2020 because they're following some trends of their buyers, and those are great opportunities for us. So trade shows, it's always great to be visible and top of mind, and this one is going to be an excellent opportunity for everybody. And besides our show, obviously for TnT, which is a fantastic fit for everybody, deciding other trade shows that might be good for you to try to attend. You want to look at the sub-markets that you're interested in growing in. So there's a student youth conference, there's American buses, if you get a lot of bus business, perhaps with seniors or escorted tours. So there's really a niche market for every type of trade show, depending on where you're looking to build your business from. And they're not all incredibly expensive. Some, you know, could be budgeted depending on what your personal company budget looks like and what your extreme area of interest and growth is. But so it's a very fun site is a good one. Student youth travel, that's really a lot of meetings and just a couple of days meeting with lots of different student tour operators. And then you can also attend along with your CVB or VCB. So many of the bigger trade shows, for example, Florida Huddle and ITW, you don't have to go by yourself and have your own booth and take appointments the first year. You could piggyback on the efforts of your VCB or CVB. You can save a lot of money, and it also kind of gets your toes wet, and you can learn the process a bit more as far as attending these larger, really big trade shows. These
Chrissy, can I jump in there for a minute? Let me jump in there for a minute. Please remember, for our members, SITA is a member. The Student Youth Travel Association is a member of our association. And we just began a strategic partnership with ABA, American Bus Association. So that more information will come on that. So those are larger shows that are very large. That's why we're having our own show that's just for us. But we always want to make sure those shows are somehow, some way connected with us also.
Very good. Thank you, Nick, for adding that. I appreciate
You're welcome.
that. So the two that we talk about the most, and again, please disregard these dates that are in here. I apologize, I didn't update this beforehand. That was not professional. But it's Florida Huddle and ITW. Florida Huddle is the Florida-focused trade show only. These are only buyers that are looking to get product within the Florida regions, depending on where they want to push their focus to. It's about 44 to 46 appointments over several days, and it always takes place in Florida, of course. So it jumps around to different locations. This next year, it's going to be in Daytona, and I can get updated dates and information for everybody. And I know that Carl from Visit Florida, who is the regional rep, is going to be attending our trade show. He's going to be at the Florida Attractions Conference, and I'm sure he will have good information in case anybody wishes to explore that further. ITW this year actually kicks off today and tomorrow. It's going to be held in Denver, and it is usually 3 to 4 days, intensive appointments, 44 appointments that are 20 minutes long each, lots of time to sit down and really get to know those operators. It's a fantastic show. It is a little bit on the expensive side, but if you go and you invest in it visibility-wise, I don't know anyone in the industry who has ever regretted the time spent at this trade show. Nick and I were talking. There's, of course, several others that take place. If you're looking to get more corporate or meeting business, Florida Encounter will be in December this year. That's specifically for meeting planners. And then we have different ones that take place in different countries, depending on if you really want a lot of business focusing from Asia and, world travel markets based in London. That's a lot of international buyers. ITB in Berlin, again, a lot of European buyers that go to that show that don't make the summit over here to the United States. So this is just for you to decide maybe South America should be a focus. As your companies choose to expand, these are other areas that you can go into for trade shows. So trade show prep, some of this we've kind of already checked off a few of these boxes, so I'll make this brief. Typically for trade shows, you have to pay attention to, signing up for room block dates, reserving your furniture. Luckily for our trade show, being reverse style, all of that is very straightforward and simple. No need to worry about reserving carpeting or anything like that. It's going to be very straightforward. Research, we're going to talk about research in just a minute in terms of prepping for your appointments that are going to be coming up. Logging into the management system and submitting requests. I'm going to walk you guys through that in just a second also. And staying on top of emails back and forth within the system and responding and following up quickly in case somebody needs to cancel with you or request something or they have a question before they meet with you. It's always very courteous to get back to them in very prompt order, especially since our deadline from show appointment requesting to the actual trade show is a bit narrow for this trade show. So we want to make sure that we're very active on the system. I would log in 2 to 3 times a week, make sure that you have no outstanding messages back and forth, that your requests are submitted. So just being very vigilant on that. We're going to go through also taking a look at somebody's profile and what we pay attention to and what we want to pull out and extract from their profile. Having good visuals. So Nick and I always talk about the one-sheeters, maybe having a tablet where you show them a video or you swipe through some nice pictures of your attraction. Assume that every single person you meet has no idea what your attraction is or what you offer or where you're located at. So you're going to have to fill in all the blanks. Research etiquette. This one is more specifically for the international shows. You'll run into a lot of international meeting etiquette for what's appropriate and what's not. Ours will be slightly more informal. So obviously professionalism, phone use. This is something I put there because I've seen people sitting during a meeting looking at their phones, a personal pet peeve of mine. Don't overpromise. Again, if they ask you a question about a rate, about an offering that your attraction could possibly do, an accommodation for a certain group, if you are not 100% sure on that answer, the very best thing to always say is, let me check on that. I'm going to get right back to you. I want to run that by management. I want to double check my calendar. Be very careful of just saying yes because we're excited and we're in the moment and then having to go back on something. Or having to correct yourself later on. It's better just to be very honest with them up front. So I typically give them a week or so to get back to the office, and then I follow up with them. I give them a few days to get back. I would probably, our show's on a Wednesday. The following Monday through Wednesday, I would be sending my emails. Hey, it was great to meet you last week. This is what we discussed. This is what I promised you. Everyone kind of has their own preference on this. I never like sending it a day after the show. A lot of people are still traveling back to their offices, back to their locations, or they're given time out of the office to go home and be with their families since they were traveling. So I don't like things to go in a big text ball. I'd rather have it be back in their inbox when they're actively checking and responding to emails. So that's a personal preference of mine. And then allow time for them to review and respond. I typically wait about 4 to 6 weeks after my initial follow-up email. I'll send another one. Hey, just making sure that you got everything. Where are we at? What are we looking at for next steps? And then I test out again about 30 to 45 days after that, and then another several months after that, and then continually. So it depends on what steps in the process you are at with that company. Some things will go very quickly, lots of emails back and forth, lots of conversation. Other ones will just need a reminder from you every 4 to 6 months of a new offering at your attraction or an updated contract, and then that way you keep kind of top of mind without harassing people. So this is the correct email for Nick, the Double T Multimedia. You can reach him at that email. Is that right, Nick?
Yes.
Thank you very much. And then that is my correct email address. We're going to go over and let's go into the system. So let me get out of this. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Chrissy, before we go into the system, let me just go through something with everybody quick.
Go for it.
If we have any international operators, I wanted to go through some stuff there before we started going through. If we have any international operators that do arrive, that especially Asian, we will let you know because there's a way to accept a business card and present business cards with them. That's very, we don't want to insult them. I am working on a Chinese operator right now to try to get them to come. If they come, we will let you know so that you know how to do that, okay? We'll never make anybody get surprised on that at all, okay? And then my other thing was we'll go through each one individually as we go through everything, but let Chrissy do this, and then we'll talk more about different etiquette at the shows and what you're going to expect at our show, okay? But that was one thing I wanted to not forget.
Okay, very good. So this is the link right here up in the bar. I know Bill is going to be emailing it out to everybody. Right now, the login information to get access to this portal is going to be your email address, and the password is lowercase Florida 2018. So this will be coming out to your emails shortly if you have not received it already, and this is how you log into the system. And here is where you're going to make your appointment request. So if you can see up here that you are allowed to make 11 requests per appointment, and then they will try to match you and set you up with as many companies as they possibly can out of the companies that are available. So for example, I would like to meet with Florida Ticket Station, so I'm going to request to meet with them. So I'll click that. It's very simple. And then you give weight to your request. Is it a high, medium, or low? Do you really want to meet with that person just a little bit, or it's okay if maybe you don't get scheduled with them? To view their profiles, you click right underneath here. I always kind of drag this. Let's see if it'll let me drag. No, it's not letting me do it. Okay, so over here, we're going to see the company description. It's one of the fastest growing attraction ticket sellers in the state of Florida. They want to expand their offerings. Okay, that's great. They're going to be growing in the next few years, so they will be adding new products. That's always refreshing to hear. They've been in business more than 10 years. I love hearing that too. I like established companies. They tend to have a very strong background. They are an online tour operator and retailer, so they're going to resell my tickets online to other individuals. So I'm going to be looking at e-vouchers and that kind of thing to work with them. So I'm going to want to know what type of a system they have in place to sell the tickets, and also have what methods do they like for the redemption of the tickets. They look for sales brochures, website information, possibly combination of some marketing promotion. The company grosses a good amount of income annually, so they are selling a good number of tickets. This is great. Look at the current and future destinations for where they are going to be in Florida. This touches literally every single one of our partners all around the state. So they're not focusing only on Central or South Florida. they want to build products all over the state. So this is a fantastic opportunity for everybody. The markets that they're looking for, nature, I always love to hear that from my end. It's also great for senior travelers, religious, education. Okay, so they serve a lot of markets. That's great. They are interested in meeting with almost everybody. They are looking for not only theme parks, but they also want the dinner attractions, museums, and different types of tours. So based on everything that I've read, for me, this would be a great fit. This is somebody that I'd want to spend my time with, so I can submit my request. If for any reason you read through somebody and you see that they are only focused on building products in Central and maybe you're in South, maybe that's somebody that you don't want to meet with. You can always select do not meet. My opinion is that everybody is an open door until I hear otherwise. So I don't necessarily rule anybody out based on what they put in the profile. Sometimes they can simply overlook clicking a few buttons along the way there. So I would rather meet with them and have them tell me that they are not building South Florida products or not for a few years, and then I can make a mental note of that. But he may, if for example, he only said Central, I may not rank him as high of importance as I would, for example, somebody who is clearly looking for products in the Southeast. So when we are looking at research and doing some preparation for these meetings, so for example, this is one of the companies that's going to be attending. This is Tech. I currently do business with this company. Really nice company based out of Europe, very fast growing. They've come on the scene a few years ago. So they've come on the scene a few years ago. They are rapidly expanding. So what's great about them is they have spent a lot of time at Florida Huddle, trade shows surrounding Florida. They were at Connect in January. So Florida's a big interest area for them. And it must be because they did their initial kickoff with Miami, and I think they've seen some great success. So I know that they've already talked a lot about Orlando, and I think now they are talking about other destinations and other locations as well. So when I come to their page, what I'm looking at is how do they sell tickets on here? Okay, well, I see here that they literally have tickets for sale that can be booked all the time directly on their landing pages. So they are selling direct to consumers. So if I give them a net rate, they're going to take this product, they're going to put it up on a shelf, and people can buy it all day long. So they are going to be what we consider a online retailer or an online travel agency. These guys are going to be actually selling my tickets. So I'm going to have a voucher system and a redemption system in place. So that's something that I'm going to note. When I come onto a website to research it, for example, I'm always going to want to find the closest destination that's highlighted, or I'm going to want to search up here specifically to see what's for sale in my area. Okay, so they work with Zoo Miami. That's great. I can always go talk to my good friend Diana and see how things are going with this company. Jungle Island. I just saw Chris Gould a few minutes ago. You know, Chris can let me know if this is a good company to do business with. So this will give you a nice synopsis of, are you the type of product that they're looking for? What are the price points? Is everything $300 and above? Well, no, it's $20, $22. So for my research, this page is a page that I print and I physically take with me. So when I'm looking at it, I can tell them, let's pretend my product isn't sitting here. I can tell them, oh, I see that you work with a lot of companies in the South Florida area. This is very exciting. I think we would be a great match. I think my product would fit in very nicely with your current offerings. So this is something I would immediately print. If I could find another airboat product that wasn't mine, for example, if I wasn't for sale on here, I would print that specific product, and that would be something that I would reference to know that they are already very comfortable selling tours that are very much like mine. So if I'm a museum, I would look to see that they're also selling other museums. If I'm a boat tour, I want to see that they're selling boat tours. That kind of gives you an open door. So this is a page that I would print for my reference so I can remember who it is that they do business with. Another thing that I always look for, really quick, I'm almost done, is that typically on this home landing page or somewhere in this area, you can find out more about the company. So I always want to know, they give me a profile that's helpful. I love this little About Us link, okay? This will give you tons of information if they design their website correctly. So I want to know, what is their mission as a company? Are they progressive? Are they modern? Are they traditional? What are they looking to do? What is their goals as a company? So they want to make sure they have technology backing their products. They have live customer support. That's great for my customers who are traveling. So take a look at this. They're getting funding for expanding internationally. This company is growing really quickly. They're getting written about by some really important companies, and these are the actual faces of their business. So this is something, Luke is wonderful, by the way. Luke's a really great guy to do business with. So this is something that I'm going to print out, and this information is going to become pivotal to me, because when you sit down with a company, the very last thing you ever want to do is tell them, tell me about your company. That is not what those 12 minutes are for. Your 12 minutes is, I researched your company. Your company is very cutting edge. You are growing very quickly. You have an online ticketing platform that I think my product would be able to be sold on. And I would like to talk to you about that more further. You know, can I tell you a little bit about my attraction so that we can see if we would be a great fit for each other? Do not waste time asking them about their company. You should be able to do all the research in advance and have answers to all of those questions. So do not insult them of knowing that you're going to meet them in advance and not being prepared with that information. Everything you could possibly need lives right here on their website. You can have all of this with you. So when you go to have your 12 minutes with this company, you cut right to the chase. You get right to the point. We want to talk numbers. We want to talk logistics. How soon can I work with you? I'm very excited about this. Don't beat around the bush. So this is something that's important, and I apologize if I say it and it might come off a little brash. I had the misfortune of being the 44th appointment at IPW one year, and the gentleman that I met with told me I was the very first salesperson who had actually researched his company. That was quite disappointing to hear, especially on a stage as large as IPW. And I want to make sure that everybody at our trade show would never make that kind of a mistake. So that's why we're kind of literally walking you through the steps, because when you first get started in this, there is no class on this. There is no education. It is all by trial and error, and it is all by learning as you go. And so Nick and I are just trying really hard to get everybody caught up very quickly, so you guys can feel more comfortable about this and make ourselves available. So that way we don't, you guys feel very comfortable going into this, and this is a very successful show for everybody. That's our goal.
Hey, Chrissy,
Nick,
can you go back to that page for me? Could you go back to that page for me, please? I wanted to jump on something. Chrissy's really doing a great job on this, but there's something that just went down there that might get intimidated to people. If you look at the circles right below the photo, Chrissy, it says smart entry. Okay, so I know not every one of your attractions is capable of scanning a QR code. If you notice, this means this guest is going to get a reservation on their phone, okay?
Correct.
A lot of people aren't printing out the vouchers, but this isn't a way to stop and intimidate you guys that aren't able to do this. Please remember that you could always ask that customer to email you that voucher, and then you could print it out. Don't eliminate this customer because you're saying, oh my God, they're only doing on phone entry. You have possibilities of working around it. That's all you have to do is make sure you work with your staff on this. I noticed that when we walked through, when Chrissy was going through, that might intimidate some of your attractions because you can't do that. There's ways to fix that. That's what Chrissy and I are there for, to help you talk through this. So I figured, let me bring it up and answer it because it's probably going to be asked by one of us.
No, that's a fantastic point, Nick.
Okay, don't ever get intimidated by one of these big companies. There's ways around your voucher system to make sure it gets printed out to you. Okay, we always want to make sure you're capable of getting that proof to get payment. Okay.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Nick, and that's something that I'm really happy to help you guys with. Our location with our parks, we do not have a DSL line, so my entire office shares an air card, and we share data, and we have to log on and off and take turns on the internet, super old school. And so because of that, we do not have a POS system. We literally do everything by hand on Excel sheets. We're super old school. And so we've figured out ways to innovate and work with all of these companies along the way. We've had companies mail us a cell phone that we keep behind the register, and that cell phone has a little app on it that you click the app open and you scan it right off the customer's phone using the camera on the phone, and you redeem it in real time. And also in terms of counterfeits, another question that Nick and I get a lot is that people are concerned with the voucher systems, that people are going to try to pass fake vouchers, a lot coming from Expedia, coming from these companies. I do understand that some of our bigger attraction partners do have more challenges with that, and because of that, they do have a lot of technology in place to try to avoid that issue. I will say that for us personally, that's happened once in 12 years, and I work with over 200 companies. So it is not common, that is not frequent. It's most people don't think to try to fake a $20 ticket. And a lot of people are very well aware of the technology that exists today to redeem something in real time. So many of the consumers are assuming that you already have a way to know right away if that voucher has been used before or not. And so that's something that I have personally never ever found to be a problem. Maybe some other attractions might have slightly better insight on how they've dealt with those challenges and overcome that on the technology side, if that does become an issue at your attraction. But there's lots of ways around it. And so we honestly have tablets behind the register that have their own little data plans, and we can use those to redeem and scan lots of different vouchers from different companies. And it's not reliant on a POS system, it's standalone, and it's in real time. So there are some choices that are very affordable, again, because we're working on a small budget, that can help you get into the door and start working with these companies so that this does create opportunities for you and doesn't limit you. So that's an excellent point, Nick. Thank you for bringing that up.
There's going to be a lot of other questions that you have for Chrissy and I as we go through this, and please don't hesitate to ask. Let Chrissy go through the system a little bit more, and then there are some of you that have probably never worked with some of these people before. This is new. You might have one or two, but this is some big companies that are going to be attending us, and they're different ones. We have, if you look at the list, there's online travel agents, there's youth operators, the Girl Scouts are coming to try to get them out there. You have some, I know there's the tickets is on there. And I know today we had a senior tour operator company that's going to be signing on today. So we have different ones. And then you have two companies that are literally competitors with each other, Sightseeing Pass and Leisure Pass, that are discount passes. So you're going to have to learn. We'll help you on those. Some of them are going to ask for exclusivity. We don't want you guys to, if you don't understand them, please ask questions. We'd be able to help you on that. So that's what we're there for. Okay?
Okay, awesome. And so you are allowed to make 11 requests. If you wish, you can log in and you can make all 11 requests right now. Otherwise, you can wait about the next 5 to 7 days. Nick and I have a few last little leads that we are working on to try to get a couple more companies in the door for everybody. So you can make maybe 8 or 9 of your requests right now and then save 1 or 2. You do have a couple weeks before those have to be submitted, so you don't have to get them done right now. You can sit back and then wait until you see the totality of all the companies that are going to be coming, and then decide which ones will be the best fit for you. And we are going to try to get everybody as many appointments as we possibly can, and try to keep you as busy as we possibly can. Normally about 30 to 50% scheduled is where we normally land on a first-year trade show. And so we will also have areas where you can take meetings with Nick. Nick, that's right?
Yes, I'm going to actually be I'm going to register in there today. You'll be able to meet with me if you'd like an appointment at the show. So I'll be taking appointments too. But I do see there's some companies not in there also. There's actually 17 companies booked at this point that are coming in with, we have a handful more. Our goal is 20 operators minimum for you guys. So we will have that there on there, okay?
Okay, very good, thank you. So yeah, we're trying very hard to keep that ratio as high as possible. Again, we want people in meetings. And then we will also, we're discussing a table with a sign up the morning of. If you and another one of the suppliers that's there, so let's just say, for example, that Jennifer's coming from Blind Country and her and I need to talk about a co-op, there will also be a community table where you can write in if you have an opening and she has an opening in common, and you can take 10 minutes and sit down and hash out business with each other. A lot of us do a lot of cooperative coupons, cooperative advertising, regional promotions. This is a great time for us to take literally 10 minutes from all the chaos and all the the excitement of the annual conference and everything great we're going to be doing, and sit down and really focus on that project for 10 minutes and let's get it some feet and let's get going. So if you do end up with openings, don't be discouraged. That time is going to be well spent prepping to get ready for your next meeting that's going to start. Maybe quickly sending an email to the office if you step out to kind of remind yourself of something. Your head's very busy when you're in the middle of a trade show, and we are also going to try to allow you guys time to meet with each other. Sometimes with FAA, we're super strong together as attractions, and that's another great bonus. So between meetings with Nick and that community table, we kind of already have about 20 opportunities for meetings, and Nick and I are going to work really hard to grow that for the rest of this week and leading right up until the date of the show. So we hope this is very successful for you guys and your companies. Nick, unless you have anything further, we can open it up for questions.
I just want to, I know there's going to be questions on this, but the one thing I'm really reiterating with everybody is please remember this isn't a $2 off your gate price to these people. These people are looking at a discount of 25, 30, 35% off your gate. Please make sure you have that for them. Some companies will do 20, but if your package is a very high ticket item, you might have to only be able to work at that price. But please remember, this isn't a few dollars off, because they're not going to work with you at a few dollars off, okay? Because they need to sell it. Some of these people sell to tour operators, so they're receptive, which then sells to other operators. My suggestion is to try to bring yourself a real easy thing that you need. If someone says, oh, I need a 25%, a 30%, have yourself a price matrix either in your book or in your head that you know the pricing, so that you can do it very fast for them, okay? Don't sit there and go, oh, let me try to figure it out. That's kind of unorganized. But remember, you need those price discounts for them. You're not going to give them all to them right there. You're going to negotiate it and talk about it, or say, let me get back to you, but at least have that prepared, okay? That you know that, so you're not surprised.
So based on the type of company that it is, I would typically disclose to them the rates that I would be willing to offer them at the onset of a partnership, and then I send them a physical contract and follow-up that they can put pen to paper to, so they can guarantee and lock in those rates for whatever amount of time that you are comfortable offering those rates for. Please keep in mind that a lot of them are building for 2019 and 2020. So you can have a contract that runs through the end of this year, but in the next few months, you need to be willing to extend that through all of 2019 so that they can create this as a product to live on their website and not have to pull it down on December 31 and not have to stop sale on it. They very much like continuity once the product is available through their company or on their shelves. So just be sure that whatever rates you publish, if they are going to be expiring sometime soon, that you give them a clear idea of when you will have more rates that will be extended out further. Namely, 2019 is what you're going to be looking at for this.
I had something else and I had a total blank. If I remember it, I'll kick it in. Does anyone have any questions for Chrissy and I? Okay, so that means everybody's ready for this show, which is amazing. So, because Chrissy and I'll be honest with you, I am always not prepared to the fullest. When I get to a show, I go, holy cow, I forgot this. So make sure you have your one-sheeter. Make sure you have your pricing. Bring USBs if you have them that you can hand them. If you're going to be working with them, or if they're one of your clients that you're meeting with to try to give them a new package or something, make sure you have that, your videos, your photos with you on some USBs. So especially if you have anything new that you need to give to your clients if there's some of these are partners, okay? And also, just to let you know, more and more of these companies, like Chrissy had said about working with each other, are looking for packages. We're seeing more and more of them saying, listen, I need to offer a 5-day pass. And what am I going to do? And you say, listen, I'm a second-tier attraction if I'm in Orlando, or I'm the main attraction if I'm in South Florida. And look, you could get 4 other attractions for this package, for this. So you make sure you have that. Also, Now I remember what I was going to talk about, breakage. So let me explain a little bit of breakage if you guys, this is the first time for you, or if you have, then you'll understand this. A lot of these attractions ticket operators sell your tickets online, okay? A customer can come in online or whatever and buy that package, all right? There's an opportunity that there's a chance they might not use that ticket, okay? That's considered breakage on that part because it depends on how they're paying you. Some of these ticket people pay you upon purchase, some pay upon usage. The ones that pay upon usage, you might not be seeing all the vouchers they've sold. So in your back of your mind, you've got to understand they might sell things you never see. But on the ones that sell it upon and pay you upon usage, you're going to get paid on everything that's sold. A company that does that is Reserve Direct. Get paid on everything that gets bought, okay? So make sure you ask these companies, are you paying us upon purchase or are you paying us upon usage? So that you understand how you're getting paid, okay? Also, some of these companies will pay that you have to invoice them, and some of them are direct deposits. So make sure you prepare that on the questions that you ask them to, if this is the first time asking them, all right?
Make sure you run with your accountants, or if you're a small office, just lean over to the next desk and ask the person working next to you what kind of processes of payments you're comfortable with. International may get into wire transfers with the bank. There's fees associated with that. So just make sure that you've covered all your bases and you're very comfortable knowing how you want to receive payment. Is check preferred, or is check a bit of a risk for your company and you would much rather prefer a credit card on file? You can feel free to request something that is more conformed with what your company would like and what you are more comfortable with. It doesn't mean that they're going to do that, but you can certainly have a preferred method of payment established, and you can be comfortable letting them know, we really like to have a credit card on file. We invoice you, and once a month we will charge the card that's on file. Your company may not like credit card fees, so they may say only check. So just make sure that you've gone over that with your owners, your managers, your bookkeeper, your accountant, and that you have a great answer for the way that you would like to handle billing in advance.
Also, if you saw on tickets, you saw that it was in dollars. We don't have any other international companies that I know of right now, but they're going to pay you in dollars. Some companies, when you do work with them, there's none here right now, and like in Canada or in Europe, you have to actually ask them what their exchange is, that you have to be paid in dollars, not in pounds or yen from European or any other currency. So if we get a Brazilian operator here, you want to also make sure that they are being paid in American dollars. So this is American dollars, but
I just converted it over to Dutch. Sorry, Nick.
Yes.
I was explaining to them the difference. So when they land on the page, to make sure what they're looking at is in American dollars, because, for example, it'll translate with the language to a different rate. Correct.
Does anyone have any questions for us? I know we're probably throwing things at you crazy, but please remember, if you don't want to ask questions, Chrissy and I are always available by email, and then we'll be able to call you. If you give us a cell number, we'll be able to talk to you. I know it's going to be crazy the day of the show, so if you want us to review any of your one-sheeters, or especially your one-sheeters, please let us know. And if you're bringing one-sheeters, like we say, please make sure you have a 3-hole punch in all of them, because they put them into binders, okay?
Could you guys put the email addresses back up?
Yes, of course. There you go.
Thank you.
That's if nobody's tired of me and Nick yet. we love hearing from you guys. You guys are our FAA family. I love FAA people. This is a fun kind of work.
We want to make sure that we're helping and not doing this, and you guys are going to be kind of like, whoa, what's going on in the show? That's why please let us know prior to, but we have 3 weeks before we're there, and this show can still add more operators and more attractions. And then prior to the show, the day of the show, the attractions will meet at 8 a.m. before the show starts, and we'll go through step by step what's going to go on during the show, how you could try to get some more appointments before the 9 o'clock opening time. But we'll do that at 8 a.m. on the 13th with everybody.
Nick and I are going to be arriving early into Naples for the annual conference as well. I will be there starting on Saturday. I think Nick will be there as early as Friday.
Friday.
So if anybody is close by or is in the area or is coming in early for our fun little boat trip that we're doing with everybody, you can also hit us up, and we can always step aside that night and take time. Or Sunday we will have openings as well. And during the conference, of course, Nick and I are always around. So if you need to grab us in person, we will be getting to the annual conference early, just to make extra time to make ourselves available to help everybody be fully prepared.
Starting Sunday at noon, I might be a little busy because it's the start of the conference.
Why, Mr. Chairman? Why?
But if I have time, I will always be able to answer a quick question if need be for anybody. Okay.
Is everybody all set? Everybody good? We got nothing? Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. We look forward to hearing from you. Go ahead and get ready to log into the systems and make those requests. Nick and I will keep pushing for buyers, and we look forward to seeing everybody at the annual conference.